You are listening to the Interview Podcast,
where we interview the real you.
We discover our guests' passions, skills, dreams, and wisdom they've learned along the way.
Get ready for some friendly banter,
Controversial hot takes.
Christian pickup lines, and riveting conversations.
Let's dive in.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to episode 32 of the Interview Podcast.
32. 32.
How have we gotten here?
I don't know.
I actually had someone pop their head in the studio right before we recorded tonight, and they said, "Oh, is this episode 2 of season 2?" And I was like,
Oh,
actually, maybe it is. So maybe it's
We
maybe
might need to rebrand.
Like do 30 episodes and then we start over. I don't
true,
know,
Jen.
but
That's true.
however you want to look at it, episode 2, episode 32. Here it is. We're coming at you guys on a Wednesday. So welcome in. I want to start off, first of all, by saying a big shout out to our sponsor, Derek. We have a sponsor for this episode.
God bless
again,
her.
which is incredible.
It's
You guys out there that sponsor, we cannot thank you enough. So this episode is sponsored by a young lady named Ruthie Lynn Stolzfus. And she is a 17-year-old from an Amish community in Perry County, Pennsylvania. She's a longtime listener and supporter of the podcast. She's a musician who loves sharing the love of Jesus through music. She's generously partnered with us to sponsor this episode of the podcast. Check out her Instagram page, where she sings and plays guitar. And she has a lot of talent with that. I've checked it out. She got some good stuff on there. Her Instagram page is lifesong.music_.
okay.
And like she shared with me, she said she just wants to use her giftings to honor and glorify Jesus and share him with people, which is super cool. So bless you in that, Ruthie. Thanks for listening and supporting us in that way. And also going above and beyond and jumping on board to support us financially to make this episode possible, guys. We could not do it without you. So thank you, Ruthie. If any of you guys out there want to jump on board as a sponsor, feel free to reach out in our Instagram page and we can get you the details for that and give you guys a shout out. So thanks so much, Ruthie. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Ruthie. Wow. I like the Ruthie Lynn Stolzfus too. That it's very I don't know. I like hearing someone's middle name.
Yeah.
It feels very official. So I'm Derek Gabriel Miller coming at you. This is Jennifer. I know your middle name, but you want to say it?
Derek does not know it. Do you know it?
Jennifer Rose.
Oh, okay.
Like
I
a
thought Derek
rose.
was like acting like he knew it and forgot it and was trying to
Jen,
cover.
See, no. A good guy comes prepared.
Jennifer Rose.
Jennifer Rose.
He knows
and then
how I am.
We have, before I ask you, this is AJ Raber. AJ, welcome. Excited to have you here,
Thank you.
brother. Awesome.
Yeah,
What is your
welcome
middle
in.
name, AJ?
So y'all both don't know this.
What's up with your...
I don't-
let's just talk about
Is
your
it-
name for a second. AJ. So
So I used to give people bets if they could guess my middle name.
Are you serious?
And you know how you would think my initials. So my first name's Anthony,
Okay.
okay.
and then you'd guess what my middle name is.
Would be like
Something with
Anthony
a J,
Joe.
Johnson, or
Jordan.
Anthony Jerome.
Yeah, Jerusalem. You never,
Yeah.
like,
I personally
But-
like Jerusalem.
my middle name is AJ.
Huh?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah,
got
wrap
it.
your
What?
mind-
Yeah.
So you're telling me you're
So-
Anthony AJ Raber?
Hello.
That is my full name. So
What?
what this happened was my
AJ.
grandpa's initials or something like that was AJ.
Okay. Oh.
And so they put that as my middle name.
Oh.
his
and-
initials
yeah.
as your middle name. Like
Yeah,
it's not a name,
No,
it's two letters.
There's no dots.
Oh.
And then they
right.
decided to put my first name as Anthony.
Oh boy.
And didn't really think about all the times I was gonna get my middle name guessed as J.
As J.
It's
like,
not a ton of forethought there.
Well, no, it's AAR.
True.
Oh,
the J is just the
AAR.
second part of your middle name.
Is it though? I feel like
yeah.
it's AAR, AAJR.
So basically,
So-
we're just calling you by your middle name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Was that from birth? Was that like your parents' decision, or did you just?
I didn't decide it.
Okay.
AJ came out of the womb. He said, "Hold up,
Well, yeah, well,
I have opinions
meant,
on
like,
my name."
Did they originally call you Anthony, and then like eventually it went to AJ, or did they always call you AJ?
Always Anthony.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh, really?
always
Oh.
AJ.
Always.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I thought at one point I'd go by Anthony when I got older,
Oh,
and then realized that
There's no
I
turning
really
back
like.
now?
Yeah.
we're in too deep.
Well, when I graduated high school, I thought you create a new identity when you go off to college. I'm like, now's my chance. If
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
this is it.
Like,
Because you can
alter
introduce yourself
ego.
as whatever,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't know you
Yeah.
as anything
Right.
else.
A really. Yeah.
And so I asked a guy I looked up to what he thought about it.
Okay.
I don't think I was asking his opinion, but just wanted to bounce it off of him.
And he shut it down, or?
Well, he gave me good advice that Anthony blends in with everybody else.
Ooh.
And so,
Ah.
Ooh.
even like, all kids say my name first. Not that I did this for the kids, but it just like,
But a little
no,
bit.
it
What do you
just-
mean they say your name first?
Oh, like if
Like
we're,
they just know you first.
the
How do you-
small kids, if I'm around them,
Oh.
they'll remember my name before everybody else.
Oh,
Gotcha.
because it's not as common.
Yeah, and so it's like going into the
Oh.
business world.
Right.
Just wanted to like, you remember AJ?
Yes, you do. Instead of Anthony
I,
Raber.
I don't think people would forget my name just because it's AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Anthony,
Right.
everybody would.
Yeah.
Anthony
And
Raber
then
is
you'd be
just
like, do we
another
call
dude
you
from Holmes
Tony?
County.
Do we
Yeah.
not?
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. We love you all, you Anthonys,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
AJ. I like it
Dude,
though.
I really do.
AJ
Okay.
Raber really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony
really well.
AJ Raber.
Yeah.
Welcome to
Yeah.
the podcast, man.
AAJR.
AAJ.
Yeah.
Get it
Well,
right.
AJ, it's really good to have you here. You're a good friend of ours. We're really glad you're here. Tell us a little bit, just where do you live? Are you married, not married? And what do you do?
All right. So, live in Inman, South Carolina. My wife and I, Victoria,
Mm-hmm.
just renovated a 100-year-old home.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like you're done or
We are
Almost-ish.
We're 90% done, but I
Okay.
feel like we'll be between 90 and 95 the rest of our life.
I
So,
appreciate your honesty,
yeah.
AJ.
So you're 90% done, but you're done.
We're fully
We're
living.
considering it done.
We're living in there.
Okay.
Okay.
And every Saturday you do another project and
Yeah.
you see two more.
yeah.
So
What you uncover one to discover two more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God bless
yeah,
you, AJ.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's at a place where you can live in it.
Oh yeah, if you
comfortably.
showed up, you would think we're at 98% done.
okay.
Good.
Okay.
That's
Gotcha.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Cool.
100. Yeah.
Not 100.
And so
Yeah.
I work for B&B Breeze.
Okay.
As a CTO, oversee tech, marketing, and revenue.
Okay. Okay.
And
So he's smart. So CTO means Chief Technical Engineer Officer.
CTA.
That would be
Well,
really cool. If it
What
was
is
a
it?
What
What
is
is it?
CTO?
Chief Technology Officer.
Oh, that sounds very
Okay.
official.
That's what I said.
Engineer sounds even.
Oh, I said
It
cooler.
does.
Yeah,
CTE
yeah,
would
yeah.
be. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, you'd be calling me what's his name? Antonio Brown.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what that means.
It's when you get a lot of concussions in the NFL and you go crazy.
Oh,
CTE,
right.
sorry.
CTE.
Sorry.
I was trying to follow you there. I was like, man, I'm missing
Wow, we need to
Antonio
get
Brown
caught up on
reference.
some of these things.
Yeah.
CT, right. Concussion thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Good to call.
And so that's what I've been doing for 2.5 years.
Okay.
Really, really enjoy it. It combines a lot of the things I like to do in one job.
Cool.
My wife is a clinical coordinator at a woman's clinic.
Okay.
So
But she's an RN as well, too.
yeah.
Like she's a
so now
registered nurse
she's a
and-
nurse manager.
Okay. So,
Wow.
okay.
Clinical coordinator is a fancy name for
Okay.
it,
No,
nurse
I like the
manager.
technique.
for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she would oversee all the nurses at a clinic.
Okay.
Wow.
And then communicate with them and look out for them and everything.
Okay. Okay.
And so we've, for the past year and a half leading up to February, have been travel nursing.
Okay.
I was not travel nursing.
Yeah.
That's what I realized every time I say that, everybody's like, what do you, oh,
Like,
well,
you're a
AJ,
nurse?
well done.
What's
Let me
your
give you a round of
deal?
applause. Let's
Yeah.
be clear. No nursing on my end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we lived in Nashville for 3 months and then Des Moines for a year.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa.
Okay.
And which was
Dude.
awesome. And
Wait.
then now we're home, settled down.
Putting
and
some roots.
Yeah.
In the
pretty solid.
100-year-old establishment.
Yep.
That's 98% done. Wink, wink.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Very
I like
cool.
that, AJ. Okay. Very good, man. And how old are you?
25.
You were 25.
Good grief.
Halfway to 50. My
You're
man.
still so young.
Yeah,
And how many
man.
years have you been married?
3.5.
Three. I'm a little
3
boy.
and a half.
Yeah.
Wasn't too hesitant, but a little bit. It's
Yeah.
okay. He knows.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
he knows.
3, but yeah. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. Cool.
Wow, awesome. Well, AJ, we have you on here to talk about a topic today, to kind of give your input as well as different thoughts that Derek and I have. And it's a topic that is pretty, I would say, common.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what it is, but the discussions around it is what we want to focus on today, of the good, the bad, the ugly. And how does this topic relate to us as believers? How do we live out like dealing with this? And so the topic is social media.
Bam.
And there is so much buzz around social media. I feel like buzz is a social media term too, so that's good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys the definition of what like the dictionary says social media even is, because I was even
I'm
wondering, I was
curious,
like,
yeah,
what is
what would
social
that
media?
even
What does
be?
that mean? And basically, it is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. So basically, it's media that you can be social with. You can share things with each other. You network with each other via these platforms.
Yeah.
It's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, TikTok, Twitter, BeReal, Visco. All these things are ways of social networking with each other. And probably so many people use and have it. And so we're going to look into that a little bit in this episode.
Yeah. With all that, AJ, what's your opinion and your take? What have you experienced in social media? What are the pros and cons for you? And what do you see as positives and negatives in our society with social media?
Yeah. So because social media is a platform, the channel itself is not good or bad.
Okay.
It's the people who are deciding to use it. So like it takes a big snapshot of when you say 3 billion people are on Facebook out of 8 billion. All Facebook is then is the consensual thoughts of 50% of the US. I mean 50% of the world.
Right.
So I don't really blame the
platform.
social media just like a newspaper.
Right.
Now, if a newspaper is just giving out bad information, the people in it suck.
Right. Which is kind of like the platforms.
Yeah.
Bad information, negative content, the people suck.
Yeah.
Versus the platform.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
All right, so it does a lot of good that you cannot do without it. So you could not
there is definitely good in social media.
rally and bring together people like that without it.
Okay, that's
and
good.
if without it, what you hear is going to be dominated by a couple main players. So like everybody, in a sense, has a voice.
Right.
Like I could put out whatever I could put out how much I do or do not like this podcast in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And the whole world's
to
gonna
like
know.
14 different
Yeah,
All of
platforms.
TikTok would know
yeah.
because AJ's huge on
yeah.
TikTok,
Yeah.
you know.
Or if you know how to work the algorithms, you're going to be
That's
right on
true.
top.
The old
Yeah.
algorithm.
People will hear you.
And
That's
so
true.
I think it's a great tool to use. And even like, so my sister lives in Australia right now and doesn't post anything on social media.
Okay.
And I wish she would. Just because
Then
like
you
I
could see it.
legitimately care. Like
Yeah.
to me, when at its core, it's a sharing device.
Yeah.
And so
Connection.
people
it's
sharing,
meant to connect.
Yeah. And I like being connected.
Yeah.
And so like hearing, knowing, and being able to share. And so I think it's a good thing that often gets used for bad.
Yeah.
Now I did see a quote totally unrelated a day or two ago.
Hit it.
That it said social media is actually the worst thing for democracy.
Oh, really?
Everybody thinks that they have a voice.
Okay.
But it actually
it's the facade of actual influence, maybe?
Yeah,
Or,
it's everybody fitting in to a norm and following. Everybody's following other people's ideas and moving in that trend. So like, I would have thought
Interesting.
it's a free use platform.
right.
But, and I'm not saying if it's political in one direction or not.
Sure.
But
Sure.
It does join people behind the big movements. And
Or
everybody,
whoever speaks the loudest,
yeah.
people
Or-
will follow that. And then we actually kind of conform
Yeah.
instead of all having our own
We
individual
actually conform
voices.
versus becoming more individualistic or free thinking.
Yeah. How many
That's
people? How
interesting.
many people get what they feel off of social media?
Agreed.
And so, like,
Or
Yeah.
they think
They form their
even-
opinions.
based on
And this is, I can attest to that. Like, there are things that I see that my friends are doing or posting, or like the styles of clothes they're wearing. And then I'm like, oh, that's the style now.
Yes.
Like, I guess I'll go buy those
and then
shoes.
you go buy that.
And I'm like, do I even like them?
Yes.
And I tell myself I do. But do I because I do it, or do I because everyone does in my mind
Right.
is now becoming changed to fit what feels normal, what feels trendy?
Yep.
And there have been some serious moments in my life in the last year, even because I'm older than a lot of my friends by like quite a many years. Okay. I'm 30 and a lot of my friends are in their low 20s, which is awesome, but I'm not maybe in the same trendiness as they are. And so I've had to I'll get advice from them on, hey, what looks good? Is this in right now? Should I
Yeah.
wear this? And like, I'll pick out something I actually like, and they'll be like, please never wear that in public. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I won't. And then I go do something else. And I had to really had to look in the mirror one day with like my own thoughts and say, what do I like?
Yeah.
And obviously this is so much bigger than what clothes you wear. It can go into so many other things of how we feel about ourselves and what standards we have to live up to. But it was like a real moment of,
Yeah.
do I even know what my own brain, my own opinions are anymore on some of these things? Or am I just doing what everyone else does?
Or am I always asking, what do you think? Or
Yeah.
is this acceptable?
Wanting to be with
Wow,
what
Jen.
you're saying, AJ, like
That's good.
that crowd is all going here. It's like, it gives you a platform to have your own voice, but yet all the voices kind of become one in a
Yeah.
sense, depending
Well,
on.
it just popped in my head. So you know how Eugene and Kyle, you actually might do it also, send Snapchats to a group, or you take a Snapchat and send it to a certain amount of people.
Are you talking like individually?
Individually
yes,
people.
But
the
send it
same
to
chat
a bunch.
goes to like
same
10
chat
people.
goes to 10
yes,
people.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So I used to not get that.
Okay.
I'm like, well, why is it not in your story? Or like,
Oh,
people aren't responding. And to
Right.
me, a Snapchat to somebody's like a text.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying something for a response.
yeah, gotcha.
But now I've actually geared towards like the things that I post are 4 or 5 people.
yeah,
Or like I can easy text a couple key friends
yeah,
the same thing I'm wanting to get across, and everybody else I don't care. Like
right.
It's just funny
Right.
how it's changed a little bit.
Yeah, it has.
To the need for others to see
Yeah,
what you're doing or going on.
right, right. And certain people are more important in that than others.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Which
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I almost think that's better than just trying to like gain popularity or try to let everyone know what you're about or doing. Because I think there can actually, because you do that because of the relationships you have with them, because you actually care, and you would want them to do that back to you, right?
Yep.
So I can see that as kind of a good thing. That's interesting. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
it can be better because if you post on your story for everyone to see,
Right.
you're wanting like everyone to know what you're doing. Whereas if you're sending it to 5 of your closest friends, I think that can be okay and healthy for the most part for you to be like sharing your day with them.
Yeah.
And because I have a group chat with 3 of my closest friends, we're on that every day without fail. Sometimes like most of the day long. And like sometimes I'll send a long video of me just yapping about what I did the last hour, and
Yeah.
I get no response. They don't
Yep.
even respond back. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's something, a place for
Yeah.
me
It's an
to be
outlet.
heard.
Yeah.
To- the one friend
Oh, boy, is
that's
the one friend
well,
laughing?
2 of them are here helping out with the podcast, and they're like pretty much agreeing with the fact that they don't respond
Everybody
to
she
half my
Snapchats
stuff.
is in this room right now.
Her friend group is in this room right
And they're
now.
all like, can you actually stop? We're tired of it.
No, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. I think you need that. I really think you do, because there's something too where I was just out west for a trip, and a lot of cool scenery, like was riding horses, like roping steers and stuff. But it's like I'm not trying to show that off to everybody. I'm literally just want my family and like friends that would care to know about it, because I don't know. I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think that's
Now, I'm definitely not against using social media.
Yeah.
Like posting what you're up to and stuff. I go through spurts where it's
Yeah.
like either you're all in or you're all out.
okay.
And
Either they know your everyday moments, or they don't hear you from you for a year.
I'm like
Yeah.
a once a year kind of post kind of guy, or once every 3 months.
Yeah.
Like it has to be pretty monumental.
yeah.
Pretty
So,
monumental.
AJ, do you see any negatives in that need for people to know what you're doing, even your close friends? Is there any downside that you see in just that? Like, what is that need in us that we're like, we're doing something, we want people to know about it?
I think it breaks down to just your need for approval. Like you're doing the right thing. You are the things you're searching for, whatever that is. Beautiful, hardworking, I don't know, fill in the blank.
Right.
But like it's just I did do something and wow, you did that. Where
Like getting some for response of
yeah.
either affirmation or excitement for you or anything like that. You're wanting something.
Validation, approval.
Validation might be the word with it. But so here, could you post something and not be looking for validation? I'm not saying it is. I'm just the hot spot from my head.
Because why would you, if you didn't want validation, why would you be posting it? That would be the question.
I think for me, and I'm not saying this that I have this all figured out. For me, I like it because it actually like puts something out there that I can look back on. Like my Instagram post, it's not necessarily for, I don't feel like for everybody. I want to do it so I can look back and remember these things, honestly.
So could you
'Cause
not just create an album in your phone of that?
It's not the same.
For you?
I could, but I'm with AJ.
I
It's
agree
not
there,
the
actually.
same. That's the angle I would kind of come from, and that's why I keep my posts pretty irregular. And I don't know. So I'm not perfect at it. My motives aren't always pure.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But I think it'd be for that reason why I would be like, no, because I want this to stay as a memory. I want to be able to look back on this. But I could do an album on my phone too. But
Yeah.
there's something different about it.
I do enjoy going back and looking through your Instagram.
Yes,
Because it is a accumulation, if that's how you say
Correct,
it.
correct.
Yeah.
Most of your...
Culmination.
I don't think that's how you say it, but I'm not saying I do,
Like,
but...
I don't think a cumulative culmination
Fact checker.
of your a culmination of your life, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct.
I'm not the one to ask how to say it.
No, I love your takes on
But
what
yeah.
on that.
I
AJ.
do like your wall to go through and see the things
Yeah.
that you've been. So all your
Correct.
biggest times in your life are usually on
Milestones.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it is easier to find those as opposed to like photos on my phone get moved to Google Drive. They get all over the place.
Yes.
You know, Instagram is all there. It stays kind of the same. So I get that. And again, I don't think even if you are putting it out there because you want to share it with people, like you want people to see, you want people to get excited with you, that might not all be bad either.
Yeah.
And that's just community on its own.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, why would you ever share something?
Yeah, right.
Like, social media is not. If we were sitting with a group of friends, you're telling them what you did that weekend.
Yeah, correct.
Same thing.
It's that idea, but with someone that I can't talk to in person.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
People
I think
wanna
that's
be
where,
heard.
that's where the value
Agreed.
is in it is if it can be used in a healthy way to where I'm sharing things about my life that I want my community of people to know about that I may not see all the time. Like my friend from California can see that, oh, I got engaged or I had whatever happen. And it's kind of cool, I guess, that they can kind of, people say like, oh, we use it to keep up with their friends, which I think can be really good. It can help you to feel like you're connected. But then also what's interesting is if you don't talk to someone for 5 years, but you see their stuff on social media, like that connection is pretty like not really
It's
real
loose.
anymore.
Yeah, it's loose.
It's
And
better
so-
than not having it.
So is it like that's where my question is
I
like,
think it is.
like, is there value in staying connected with people that you don't actually have a real relationship with anymore?
So first question I feel pretty firmly about.
Okay.
And yes. So like there's people that I'm rooting for, not daily. Like, I don't
like it
Just so
crazy.
you know, I'm
No, but,
not
like-
obsessive.
I have certain friends that
Yeah.
I'll see them post something.
Yeah.
And like even if it's just random, we haven't talked in forever.
Yep.
Like I see their stuff
Yeah.
and I'm rooting for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Or like I am very glad to see what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
Even if it's a friend from high school that I will maybe never talk to again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just I really enjoy staying up to date with what people I know are doing.
Sure.
In a good way. And hoping they're doing better.
So you can
Right.
give them that like, be like, hey. And sometimes I will, like one of my friends will have a baby and like I would literally have no idea they had a child if I didn't have them on social media. But then, you know, that begs the question of, well, then do you need to know if you're not friends with them anyway? If you're never going to see them or talk to them, do you even need to know? It's just, you know, for devil's advocate's sake.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I do like it. Like I like being able to see that. And sometimes I'll put in the comment like, wow, like congratulations. Then they see like, oh wow, like she is
They noticed.
like affirming or not affirming me, but celebrating with me in this thing.
Yes. Right.
So I think that can be good. I think what happens is if anything is being posted and you're putting stuff out there on whatever platform it is, if you're coming from an unhealthy place of needing validation for self-image for your self-image and the way you view yourself to be put where it needs to go, that's I think where the danger comes. And it's a very fine line. Like there's very few people I think that would say I'm completely healthy, that when I put a post out, there's not a little piece of me that's like hoping I get a certain amount of likes or wanting those comments or like wanting maybe even certain people that you're like, I hope they like it or
Yeah.
wanting to see that. There's a piece of you that wants that. And it's not all bad, I don't think, to want that as long as that is not what determines your view of yourself. That has to be rooted in Jesus. And what you post and the likes you get, like that has to be secondary and not the main focus of why you're doing it. And I think that's where it gets very hard because a lot of social media users are starting at 15 and 16 where they don't know who they are.
I know.
And actually,
And-
do you notice how old that is now for people getting
True,
on
it's probably
social
like
media?
9 or 10.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
be real.
No,
I'm
literally.
going way high.
I
I think my
know.
first cell phone was at 16 and it was a dumb phone. Like it was a slider
Right.
that didn't
Jen,
have anything.
Jen, is any phone you have?
What?
No, how smart is any phone you have currently?
What do you mean? Because if I have an Android?
Yeah, I'll
you
let
saying because of the you-
Jen, I'll let you
Oh,
answer
because
that.
of me?
I'll let you answer that question however you want it. I
Jen,
was
you just
AJ.
filter that question.
I was posing the question.
AJ,
You
I
just-
love
dropping
your
this
little
and then
low-key
not
roast.
saying
I love your like
anything.
left wing
yeah.
left wing roast out there, man. That's great. Oh, that's true.
But
That's
anyway,
true.
yeah.
Right. Well, and I think I do agree with what you said that kind of about the platform itself is almost neutral and it's about the people. I do have an issue where I think some guidelines should be more strict sometimes with even like inappropriate content that you can find on, I mean, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, like some of the ads and stuff that you
ads.
get. Like we have to get serious and actually talk about like it's actually not okay, and especially as someone that's young and very impressionable, even someone I'm 30, and it's like there's temptations that can start planting seeds in your mind that can take you to other places, and so that's where I'm like, I think that's where like parents need to be super intentional, but also peers like amongst us that we're very open and intentional of like, hey, I'm struggling because I saw this ad. Like, I don't think we need to be very honest and real about that. Like, not
For
just
sure.
talk about the positives, but like if we're actually struggling with something, like, okay, no, because like, yeah, let's be honest. On Instagram, it's probably one of the most triggering places as a guy that I would go to if I'm ever searching for something, or if
Yeah.
I'm just looking on like that search icon page or whatever.
like the For You page.
The
and
For You
stuff that
page,
can
like
pop up.
they're just gonna like feed you stuff, and a lot of it's according to what you watch and what you know. But like stuff can be thrown on there that you have no business looking at.
So that's why I don't have a TikTok.
Yeah.
So you know how Instagram is based on stuff that you like.
Yes.
So it's honestly, I like the ads.
Yes.
Like I buy
Yeah.
the ads.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
very
buy that.
effective.
I'm the
Yes.
sucker they're looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
Agreed.
So like it's very made for me.
It is.
And as long as you keep it
Yeah.
appropriate
Yeah.
how it should, it's going to be good things.
Yeah.
Like as long as you don't go down rabbit holes of negative things or inappropriate things, it should keep feeding you,
Ex- Except that-
acceptable things.
Oh,
You're
but-
right
yeah,
about the
so-
search bar.
Yeah.
Like it's been
Sometimes they
like,
throw in some crazy stuff.
Well, I actually rarely search for somebody on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so I rarely even go over
Yeah.
there.
Which is good.
And then the other day I was with somebody looking somebody up, and so I clicked in the search bar, and I was appalled at what was the first couple of posts there. And I'm like, holy cow, this is like
Oof.
I just
Right. And
never
it's
go
not
over
based
there.
on what you like. It's just them wanting you to want that.
Yeah. Now in TikTok, I never had the chance to like the stuff.
Yeah.
And so
to,
just
to
like
get it.
15-year-old girls dancing. And I'm like, I don't need a place for that in my
Hey, just
life.
like, I'm not in.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. The stuff that they
Really?
push and what's
Yeah.
popular. Yeah. Right. Right.
Wow. But yeah, you're very right, Derek. And the age of kids that have social media now, I think that's where like I'm in full agreement that social media as a platform is not wrong. It is how you use it. But the problem is we're putting a very powerful platform in the hands of young minds that don't know how to control it well. And so they're getting their identity from what their friends think of them. They're seeing things that are out there, and that's what they want to be like, and that's how they're basing their even their worldview on is what they're seeing, what they're taking in, what's cool, what isn't, all of that. And so it's a lot of people that are growing up without actually learning to think for themselves, and also with having a very unhealthy view of, oh, I feel really good if I have a lot of followers and I get a lot of likes, and if I don't, I'm worthless. And so I think that's the danger that's out there, is it can be used for good and it can be used for bad. It is about the user, but then figuring out how to control the platform itself too, to protect people that may not be at a place where they're able to do it for themselves yet.
I
is
will
important.
be more
Yeah.
intentional with my kids on social media.
Yeah.
Based
Same.
on my experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't even know so my parents were intentional, and I thought it was dumb. Like at
Oh.
the time. At
Right.
the time.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
like, all my friends are like,
Yeah.
I
But
couldn't have
they
social
had
media
some
until a
rules in
certain
place.
age.
Yeah, correct.
And all this. And I still saw the repercussions it had. And so now I'm like, I'm techie. I think I'll know how to be involved in their social media.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, when they're this age, will I still be techie at all?
Correct.
Like,
Will we be
Will
outdated?
we be with the tech
Yeah.
that is then?
Yeah.
Because I've thought about that too. Is like my parents, they almost didn't know how to help us kids navigate technology, because it came out when they were already
Yeah.
like they never had it.
Correct.
But I feel like the generation now of our age group, as we have kids, we're going to be way more on guard and aware. But again, technology is going to keep changing.
Yeah.
I think parents would do well to educate themselves and not be like, well, I just don't get that stuff. I think that's an excuse often used, or I'll show my mom something, she's like, oh, I don't understand how to use this, or I don't know how to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you value your kids' hearts and their like protection from things? Are you willing to educate yourself? Are you willing? Why are you gritting like that,
Sorry,
Derek?
I just thought of a comment from earlier. Keep
Oh,
going.
boy.
Keep rolling.
Anyway, I'm just saying, like,
Yes.
I think parents, like, be proactive. Don't just use the excuse of I don't understand it, because I guarantee you your kids do.
Yeah.
And they are able to access things that are probably not great, and that if you would like allow yourself to learn and then communicate with them,
Yeah,
to see
right.
what's going on. What are you watching? What are you involved in? And anyway, what's your comment, Derek?
No, and we're not
Does it
going
not
back.
fit? Okay.
No, we're not going back to that.
Oh,
we're,
boy.
We're not circling back. It was
Okay.
good. It was good.
Anyway,
yeah, it's funny.
Should I go into some of those stats, Derek, or is there anything
Sure.
else you wanted to talk about in
No.
this?
I think that'd be
section?
good.
Okay.
I think it'd be good.
So, AJ, I did a little bit of a test. What do you call it? Beta test? I don't know what that means, but it sounds cool.
Sounds official to me.
I took a little poll from a group of about 19 people that are in our community here. No names. I told them I wouldn't give out any names, and I would appreciate them being honest. But I asked them to give me their screen time of their daily average in a week's time. And now this isn't just social media screen time; it is their full screen time. But a lot of it, majority of it, was a social media platform of some kind. And so I compiled all that together, and it came out to an average daily use time of about 5.5 hours a day. And what did you say the national average was? 2?
But that was
little over
social
2.
media, I thought.
That
was that screen time or social
no,
media?
his was
that
just
was
social
social
media.
media.
And mine is screen time
You were
because I wasn't
saying
able to.
screen time.
But in most of the users that I looked at, like you can kind of some of them
Yeah,
sent
you
me.
can
You can see
some of
what
them it
individual.
said, but they didn't all send me all of that, so I couldn't get an accurate reading.
Yeah.
But from what I did see, it was like a high percentage, like of the 5.5 hours, it was probably 4 of that was social media.
Okay. Wow.
So it is screen time. So with thinking about that, 5.5 hours a day on your screen, majority of it being social media, comes to 38.5 hours every week that you're spending on your phone. Some of it's necessary, some of it's good.
Yeah.
But 38 hours in 1 week, that is over a full day and a half of just being on your phone.
It's a full work
every week.
I mean,
And so then I was just thinking, I was like, okay, you have 38 hours every person a week spending on their phone. With 19 people, if you would add that, like take 38 times 19, that comes to 722 hours, which is a little over 30 days worth of time in 1 week between 19 people that is spent on our phones. And that's a lot. That's a lot of time. And it's like, should kind of shock us a little bit of like, what are we doing with that time? Like, is that time being used in a way that's honoring to God?
Well, we've been conditioned to grab our phone.
oh, very much.
All right,
so.
y'all start talking on your own. All right, that's a good way for me not to feel awkward. Like it's
Yes.
It's true.
People
It's
do
true.
that you're in a line at the grocery store. What's everyone doing?
I know. Airports.
Anytime there's any
Yeah.
dead space, it's phone.
Going to the bathroom. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
just
went in there
pull
one
out your
time.
phone.
I didn't have my phone with me. I was like, what am I even doing here?
No, literally. You're like, oh, wait, I have to just go to the bathroom? I can't just like...
like, what a waste of time.
well, it's funny. So at times when I don't have social media,
Yeah.
I still do the same reflexes, but there's nothing to go on.
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that
pull out
crazy?
animation.
No, so there's nothing to do. I
Yeah.
check emails and like stuff.
Hey, I low-key love checking emails.
I
I'm
like-
with you, dog.
yeah.
I like scroll through my Cash App for no reason. I'm just like, what's on here?
Anybody else scrolling through their Venmo, seeing
yeah,
what
yeah.
random people are up to?
Oh, yeah. But you should have seen. So when I used to travel for work more,
Oh, yeah.
I would be sent to random conferences, trade shows, and needing to network with everybody. I was the only person there I knew.
Okay.
You should have seen the things I'd pull off to look like I had to be on the phone, or like look like I'm not like. What do I do right now? So like the amount of times
I gotta call
big
the
groups of
president of
Big
this
people.
groups of
company.
people.
I just showed up in the young kid. Oh, very important phone call. I gotta take.
Yeah,
this.
oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
excuse
yeah,
me, my
yeah,
boss
yeah,
is...
yeah,
Yeah.
It can be it can be a buffer. It
Oh,
can
you're
be nice to
funny,
get out of
man.
situations. But
Yeah.
anyway.
I've been trying to be more intentional with that, even like in airports and stuff, to be like, just like talk to people or at least be like semi-available. Like if I'm reading and someone walks by or something, like, I don't know. Like we live in a world of really disconnection because of social media. And that's,
Yeah, which
just
is
not good.
is funny because I've heard it said before that the word social is in the title social media, and yet social media has actually taken and inhibited actual social interactions more than anything else.
yeah.
And so, yeah, you're socializing on a screen with a bunch of people, with 100 people seeing your stuff, but you're not talking to the person in front of you in line at the grocery store
Yeah.
because we don't know how to do that anymore, and we don't want to.
Yeah.
That
Or talking
takes a
about
different
actual
type of
real
energy.
life stuff instead of just, oh, nice picture or, oh,
Yeah.
that looks cute, cool.
So I think we're losing that in our culture, and I'm like really curious and almost I don't want to live in fear, but I have some caution thinking about what 10, 20 years are going to be like. Are we all just going to be is there just going to be robots out there doing stuff when none of us leave our houses
Yeah.
because we won't need to? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that we, especially as believers, who want to carry like the mission on earth of following Jesus and bringing his kingdom here, I think that we need to like be aware of what's going on around us and hold like those values dear of keeping that connection with people and like how God designed it to be.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Totally agree.
which kind of brings us to like, what does the Bible have to say about social media? You know, that's, I think, regardless of what we think, regardless of if it can be good or bad, like what is, like in my thoughts on this, what does God say about social media? How, as a Christian, are we supposed to live with, I mean, social media is a part of our life.
Yeah.
Like we can't get away from that. A lot of us use it for our work. It's like how we do our jobs. And it's, if we wouldn't have it, it would feel like, what are we doing? So I think it's going to be a part of our life. How do we use social media in a way that glorifies God and doesn't take away from like what he's calling us to do? And so Well, AJ, do you have any thoughts on like either what you feel like as believers, our role is in using social media?
So first thing that popped in my head while you were saying that, I heard a pastor one time bring up, how deep does somebody have to know you until they hit the gospel?
Ooh.
So like how
Yeah.
many conversations, how deep do they have to hit
Yeah.
before they hit Jesus out of you? And it kind of just popped in my head like, now you can put photos of yourself on Instagram with Bible verses, and it's not hitting the gospel at all.
Yeah.
But
In your bio, it's like,
yeah,
and people are like,
sure.
but it's like, if
that
you
real?
use this platform as a platform, how deep do they have to go till they see the genuineness reason behind you? And that there's 1,000 ways to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I heard some people say celebrities shouldn't use their platform for X or this or that. And I would disagree with that just as much as I think we shouldn't. Like, is if you have something to share behind your why, then I think it should be there as well.
Sure.
So like that's what, like, I think social media should be genuine. And there's been times I would
I'm
like
with
to do this more. I haven't, but like to show the things that you screwed up on.
Yeah.
And stuff. I will say this: if you go to my Instagram, you're not going to see all the things I screwed up on right now. Like, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of that comes from me just not posting a whole lot on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just how deep do they have to go before they find Jesus, even on your social media?
Yeah.
wow.
It's a good word. That's a really good
because
word.
it can be used like there are people out there that are using that platform for Jesus, and you know it, and it's real, and it's helping people. Like,
Yeah.
it's partnering with each other and encouraging people. So that's really good.
Yeah. Right.
And I agree with that, AJ. Something I think about a lot when I think about social media, just even regardless of the good, the bad, the blah blah blah, is the time.
Yeah.
And it's, social media is one of the biggest time wasters there is in our culture. And the scripture verse, I've always known it because there was a guy that did a teaching on it in our church years ago, but it's the verse that says, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Another way is saying that make the most of every opportunity in these evil times. And I believe we are in those, latter days. And it's like, what does it even mean to redeem the time? And I think that making the most of every opportunity says it very well, is if we're on our social media if I have 2 hours that I was on Instagram, like looking at people's profiles, scrolling through reels and stuff like that, like, am I making the most of my time? And the answer is no. Unless there's something in it that's building my faith or teaching me something or encouraging me, the answer is no. And that can go for other things other than social media. It can go for anything like watching a movie or even going out and like playing a sport, like isn't always something I should be doing. That can be wasting my time. So, but I'm just saying, like, think about the time that we have on this earth is it's very limited. And like when the stat Derek said, 5 years of your life on a screen, like, what if you changed the outcome of those 5 years? What if you did something different with those 5 years of time? Like, you could get a degree in something. You could, whatever it is, like, so thinking very, very seriously about how much time am I spending? And that's kind of why I did that poll with the youth was, not to like
the youth.
I said it. And I was like, no one's gonna catch it.
Before
Anyway,
long, she's gonna say the name.
It's fine. No. Love you all. I was part of that poll, and I was right along with them. And so it was like I did that for us to even see, like, we're like believers. We are like here serving Jesus. That's our goal, and we are on our phones, for 30 hours, 38 hours a week. And I'm not saying all that's bad, but let's take a look at that and say, okay, what do I want to change here to be redeeming the time, to be making the most of every opportunity I have? For those 2 hours or those 5 hours a day that I'm on my phone, can I cut that down to 2? Can I cut out stuff that's not benefiting my spiritual walk or my ability to learn something new or whatever? And then there is another verse that says, live wisely among those who are not believers and make the most of every opportunity. Same concept is like, the time that God gives us is like precious. Are we stewarding it well into social media, being on that and just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling? What are we doing with that precious time God has given? And I am speaking this to myself because, man, I can be a binger of like, I just want to veg out sometimes when I get off work because I've been thinking all day. I just want to do something that's mindless. And I think there's a balance to that. It's not all bad, but yet if that's like my coping mechanism and I just want to waste my time, like, do something else. Like, find something that's beneficial in those moments if you can. And then the verse that says, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, honest, just, pure, lovely, of good report. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. So with the time factor and also what are you doing when you're on the social media is very important because if it's not falling in one of these categories, then I don't think we should be doing it. And so I think if you would look at those two things, it would probably change a lot. And we actually were intentional and did the hard thing. I think it would change how we use social media. So anyway, that's any thoughts on that, guys?
Did you have something?
No, go ahead, AJ.
When you're talking about redeeming the time, to me, there was a verse you said I was going to point out that I forgot, but
That I already said? Or
yeah, you just said it. It's
redeeming the time? Finally,
No.
brethren? Whatever things are true?
being good steward of your time.
Yeah,
Yes.
So it's not about you could look at your phone and get it from 5 hours to 2 hours and feel like you did something, but what you did with that other time, you can be the
It's still a
exact same
waste.
place.
That's true.
So it's
Good word.
to me, just like earlier, the social media is just a platform. The waste of time is just is it a distraction? So
True.
in your life, so for what I did just personally is I have a 30-minute timer on my phone. And I've had this for probably a year or two.
Okay.
And so it will lock down social media after 30 minutes.
being on
of
it?
them, or
Or of your phone being open?
No. So Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat
have a 30-minute
30-minute timer cumulative
Right.
between the three.
oh, between the three. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. And so it's all because I'm 25. Do I want to be wasting my time right now?
Yeah.
And if I give myself, everybody can relapse into the vegetation state.
Yep.
Into the veg state. Yeah.
Do it all the
If
time.
I have it,
You're in there.
And
Oh,
so
for sure.
for me, the best place, I remember I heard a pastor one time and say, if you're struggling with lust and there's a billboard on the way home from work, take another route. And that just kind of stuck with me about everything.
Wow.
If this is not good for me,
Yeah.
and so the same thing goes for nonfiction or fiction books, TV shows.
Yeah.
It's none of those things are wrong, but is it a distraction from what I'm supposed to be doing? So using healthy balance. So
Yeah.
my wife has the pin to that, and I can't unlock it. Legit.
Oh, so you
You
can't.
literally are locked out.
So how is that per day? Is it per
30
day?
minutes a day.
30 minutes a day.
But what it
yeah.
teaches you is what's important on social media.
True.
So 30 minutes is a long time. Also,
Yeah.
you learn it is.
You learn it
So
is.
I have plenty of time to. All right. Tell me this? Why do you like social media?
I like to be entertained.
All right. So I can't answer that. All right, all right.
Wrong answer.
me another one.
Sorry.
I want to see what people are doing.
all right, but to me, to catch up, see people.
Sure.
And that's what that was the hidden message behind
I like
it.
to. Yeah, it's entertaining to see what they're doing, and it's something that's making me not have to think about anything
Yeah.
else.
And so I have more than enough time to check messages,
Yeah.
see what people are doing.
Yep.
And be connected, but do I have enough time to scroll? No. And so it's you
So
realize
do the things that
Sure.
you actually want to do, and then you don't give
and
yourself
then
time
I still
to.
get locked out every day by lunch. I don't sit. I'm not a
He's
wise.
still-
I don't save up minutes or anything.
Save up minutes.
He's like, I'm still on it, but that 30 minutes is done
30 minutes
quick.
is
but when
Toast,
you put
yes.
parameters in your life,
Yeah.
and it could be social media, it could be anything. If you put parameters around your waste, it makes it a whole lot easier to not waste.
Wow,
And so that's just
that's very good.
so.
I was picturing your actual waist there. I was like, oh,
That- like the
wait. Oh, okay.
yeah,
not
yeah,
your
yeah,
stomach
yeah,
waist.
Yeah.
the waste in your life. is
Parameters
trash.
around your waist.
Yeah.
That's a good.
And so that's
a new
what you've learned. Is that what you if you're giving advice to people of hey, they're I don't know what to do with social media. I know we have it. It can be good. I just don't know how to use it well. Would that be a big piece of advice you would want to give them? Is just you're not naturally going to be disciplined in it. So
Yeah.
would you say set parameters that you want to be controlled by?
If you're not at a healthy spot, you're struggling with confidence and all these things, then get rid of the thing that's causing it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't even have the time filter that I have. If it's bad for you, why do you want 30 minutes of bad?
Agreed.
Yeah, true.
Agreed.
It's
Agreed.
if it makes you feel better that you're going from 5 hours to 3 hours, but you still have 3 hours of bad.
Yeah.
You still have 3 hours.
If
of
the
bad.
3 hours aren't being filled with something else, then it's pointless. It does have to. That has to matter.
I've seen in my life, 30 minutes of social media is not bad. But the thing is, it's not like I've mastered it.
Sure.
If I had an hour or two, it would turn into that.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I have not mastered it even the slightest, but I've learned what I can healthily handle without becoming a problem.
Yeah.
So it's I don't struggle. This is we always say about me and my wife. I have extreme self-drive, but not as much self-control. She has a ton of self-control, but not as much self-drive.
Okay.
So like for me,
Interesting.
that like I put parameters.
Right.
Like why not make my life easier?
Yeah, correct.
By like even they say it's not like every day I would need that filter, but like how strong are you on your weakest day?
Yeah, not
And
very
so
strong.
not very
Right.
strong.
Agree.
And so like
Yeah, exactly.
These are some one-liners, man.
Yeah.
How strong are you on your weakest day? And set yourself up for success by putting in those boundaries ahead of time.
For the days that you know are going to
that-
come.
Because some people look at that as like, oh, I don't want to live. Like I'm free. I don't have to live with like these boundaries and setting parameters. Like, you know, and I'm like, can you? Like, genuinely, can you? Like, I'm at my age and what I've been through. And like, there are times I'm like, oh, I don't need to set boundaries. Like, I'm not on it that much. Am I? Like, what's the time? What am I doing with that? Is it 2 hours later? Am I starting to go into these mental states of like feeling less than or wishing my life was better? Like someone I just saw on Instagram, like being honest and then being like, what do I actually want? What am I willing to sacrifice to get there?
And it's something I've been seeing lately, even in other areas of life that didn't include social media, but how easily Satan whispers small little things that are strong enough just to get to you the next one.
Yeah.
So like for a girl struggling with insecurity,
Yep.
like it's not like you open your phone, you're like, oh, immediately insecure. Like maybe it is. Maybe actually,
shutting that down.
but like it's funny how it's one and it keeps you scrolling to the next and to the next.
Yep.
And so that same line of lies it's not really hitting me in social media. But it's the same principle applies. Like, are you in a place where you're lukewarm enough that like that like the frog getting being
the
okay with
boiling-
being in water?
Yeah.
Like it's social media, you're boiling water. Like
Yeah.
where it just like keeps getting a little worse and a little worse. And I definitely believe that it's a tool that Satan uses to destroy people.
Yeah.
And identifying that if it's in your life, like, and I can be too black and white, unfortunately, sometimes, but like if it's bad for you, do you really need to know what other people are doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
this is the question. Are you a better person with or without social media?
Ooh, yeah.
Your mind,
you
your
look at
spiritual
the
life.
look at the fruit of your life and be like, is this better or is it worse?
So I don't hate social. I have 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
But like, am I a better person
Yeah.
when I have access to social media? The answer is not yes. So
Yeah.
hey, that's actually kind of when you're talking about what good can happen, I can put good into social media, but I don't feel like I receive it out. Like I don't think it's a good thing for me, even though I can
To
platform.
intake. There's not good intake.
Like I
necessarily
don't
there.
become a better person.
Right.
I can still influence for good,
I got you.
but it's just something to like who
Yeah.
scrolls and feels like they become a better person.
Yeah. Like, man, 30 minutes. Ah.
Oh man,
go,
life
you know?
giving.
Yeah.
Well, I think kind of what you were saying, like knowing your boundaries, knowing your limits. Like in my head, I justify so much of like why I'm allowed to be on social media or why I don't have a time limit on it. Like I do, but then I can easily hit 15 minutes more or whatever. So I really like that idea. I'm gonna
You
do
could give
that.
me the pin.
Yeah, I could.
That sounds miserable.
That's AJ, you're getting the
Jen,
pin.
it's 11:30, but
No pin for. I need the pin.
Need the pin. But anyway, I justify things in my own head, and I'm sure all of us do that. The reasons why we need social media. Oh, it's for connection, but then there's all these other things that come with it. But I think too, even for me, like I love like self-growth, self-development, like content like that. But then eventually it's like I'm gaining all this knowledge, but to what end? Have I put this into action?
Yeah.
And I think it's the illusion of knowledge and productivity, but it's just activity. It's not actually productive. And so I think it's the lies we tell ourselves of why we don't need accountability of like, oh, it's not that bad. It's good content, but it's not taking me the wrong way. But is it something I'm taking action on, or is it literally just content for content? It's literally
Are you doing
that-
anything with it?
Correct. It's literally, it's crazy. And we justify it in our own head. So it's like, I need to be in a place of, I need accountability in this. And if you say you don't need any accountability or checking on it, usually those are the people that do.
Yeah.
Because you realize your humanness. You realize that I'm going to have weekdays, but I'm not even going to let myself go to this place. That's why I'm going to have that time limit. I love that.
well,
I
that's
think
funny.
it's good.
Well, not funny. It's not funny at all. I don't know why you said
No
Fine,
laughing.
AJ.
you say the illusion of knowledge.
Yes.
So like I see a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
Like I like it.
Yep.
Like and it sayings, quotes, speakers,
Yes.
this and that.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's great.
It's great stuff.
And I feel like I'm taking away from it. But like, is it the illusion of knowledge? And I'm not saying it is or isn't. Like, I'm sure there is fruits in my life from things I've learned from people on social media.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Exactly. Possibly. Not for
Is
sure.
it possible?
But
Yes.
possible.
Is it probable? I don't know.
But like,
yeah.
like you said, what have I seen on
But then
Instagram
if we don't do anything with the knowledge, what's the purpose of knowing something if it doesn't benefit you or you don't use what you've learned?
Agreed.
Because I can watch a reel or something and I'm like inspired to like almost have tears because of someone's story, and I'm like, then I put my phone down, grab a bag of chips, and go watch a movie. And I'm like,
didn't
I
change
felt
your
like,
life.
yeah, that was so productive. No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was another. So that wasted my time, and then I didn't do anything with that. So it's just like, what's the point of what you hear, what you're inspired to do, what you learn, if you do nothing with it?
Yeah.
What's the point?
Right.
I like what you said, AJ. Does it make you better? And if not, like, do you need it?
And in that statement, like, oh, if it makes you better, you could think like every entrepreneur ever, like, it doesn't make you. Am I getting better? But it's are you a better person? Is your thoughts better? Like, is who you are, is how you judge people better?
Yeah.
Not just become like, oh, I'm getting better today.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's
True.
a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Wow, guys, this has been really good getting into all this and all this stuff. I think, like, I'm kind of like, where does this leave us? Like, what are the things that like we should be doing now? Like, yeah, what would be some key takeaways from this of like, okay, we need to readjust social media to this in our own personal lives and as like people our age and stuff like that. What's a couple things that we should take away like going forward on this?
And this is advice I'd maybe do as a parent one day.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not strong enough for something, remove it.
Okay.
Like, now I know he doesn't mean this literally. I don't think so, at least. But Jesus says something about if your left hand causes you to sin, cut it off.
Yeah.
Literally. Better
And-
that is without than you burn in hell.
Yeah.
It's real talk.
I think he was being even somewhat literal minded in that. Of like, I'm actually serious about this. If something's causing you to do something, get rid of it.
And that's why going from 5 hours to 2 hours does not solve that. Like, it could in your life, everybody, but I'm just like, don't take lukewarm actions to solve things. Like, if it's bad, get rid of it. If you can handle it and you need parameters, there could be like 3 stages.
Yeah.
Can't handle it, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Can't handle a little bit of it, set parameters.
Yeah.
You're at a place that I'm not, but like fully all of those things where it's just a tool.
Yeah.
And good for you, then have full access.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm in stage 2.
Setting
Currently
parameters,
stage 2.
yeah.
I like that, AJ. Yeah.
which is smart, and you being willing to be honest and like say what you need. And JP said, John Pacluta, I don't know if you know who he is on his podcast. He said, if you don't think you're addicted to something, then give it up. Give it up for a day. Like people are like, oh, I'm not addicted. Well, then give it up.
Then give it up.
Like show that you're not.
Prove it.
And if you can't do that, then we have an issue. Because he said anything that causes you to form an addiction to it is wrong. Because the only thing we should be addicted to is, Jesus Christ. Should be addicted to that.
Word.
Poor choice of term.
Addicted to
maybe, but-
Jesus. That should be a
So
shirt
I think
or
it's
something.
like, being. I think the big part is being. So many people say, "Oh, I'm not addicted
Right.
to social media. Like I don't need it. I barely ever go on Instagram."
And it's like self-denial.
people say that a lot. They're just. I'm like, "Hey, do you want to do a social media fast with me?" They'll be like, "Nah, I don't need to. I'm barely on it anyway." I'm like,
it's
well,
like
then
my
do it with
everyday
me.
life anyway.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, well then let's do it.
So like, I was like, this shouldn't be an issue, but it's like that something is there that they kind of know. I don't want to be without that.
Yeah.
And so I love the parameters thing. I think that's maybe the stage I should get
Yes.
into because
I'm
kind of all or nothing. And so right now I'm trying to be nothing. But I'm like, I think there's some good in it that I'm like, maybe it's the parameters that I need to get to.
Yeah. I
And
totally agree with that.
and this is nothing to do with the actual benefits of it, but don't be the person on social media when you're around other people.
Yeah, that's good.
Because
That's
I
a
could
good
go
life
on
rule.
that.
Yeah, that's the whole
But,
topic. Because what you're communicating to them is, hey, by the way,
Yeah.
you're not interesting enough. I don't care enough about our relationship.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look at other people while I'm in your presence.
Right.
Yeah, that when you really think about that, and I've done it before, so I'm guilty of it. But I'm like, I've been with friends, and depending if you're comfortable with them or not, that sometimes you go hang out just to scroll Instagram, whatever. But if you're with people and you're like scrolling and like trying to check something real quick while you're having a conversation, whatever, it's like, what are we doing?
All right.
Very dishonoring.
So we're going to issue a challenge. When you're out in groups, put your phone away. Don't either leave your phone in the car. You could even do that.
That's pretty freeing, honestly. Because when
Yeah.
you have it, your default is checking it.
Yeah.
If you don't even have it, you
Right.
could be fully present.
Freeing's a good word for that. It would be.
It's very freeing. I
You
agree.
feel like it's not. You feel like, I need my phone. It is freeing. Some of us girls went and floated down a river today. It was like 2.5 hours.
In a tube.
In a tube. Yeah. I mean,
just straight.
free floating.
Straight, free floating.
Yeah, we're really good at floating. In a tube, and we left the phones in the car because we didn't want to lose them in the water. And I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what time it was. I didn't care. I didn't need to know any message.
No
I was
distractions.
like, it's amazing. It's like the thing that we think we need the most when we don't have it often, we feel like the most mentally free and in other ways too. But
Yeah, that's
and
good.
so speaking of that, do you want to say what we did and then we can issue the challenge?
Yeah, for sure. So we did a fast up to this episode where we were going to kind of do it in different stages. So I did a 2-week fast. Jen did a 1-week fast. But
Wait,
then
did you do one, AJ?
AJ, you did one. Like, how long? You did it before. You didn't do it right up to this podcast, right? But like, how long did you go without social media?
So I have probably went a couple months without it.
Okay. Wow.
And then now I have on that 30-minute timer. I
Right.
still don't have Instagram.
Okay.
Okay.
But I
So
do
what
have
is
Facebook.
Facebook and YouTube and
If you count YouTube, is a whole different story.
oh
Yeah, I think I don't.
But no healthy YouTube. Like, wow,
like,
am I that person? But-
maybe no.
Only the good stuff. Only the
I
interview
agree.
podcast.
I've kind of put it in the same category because you can just watch endless amounts of videos that are just
Yeah, I would say YouTube is something else because so you don't really. I mean, I guess if you're posting, if you're
YouTube-
just intaking it, you're not really socializing. So, but it's still I went off Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat for 2 months or 3 months, and you know what I did? I watched a lot of YouTube.
ton of YouTube. See,
So it didn't really. My going off that
Right.
solved that problem. Created another.
Created another.
I found another
I kind
way
of lump them together.
to be entertained because I was like, I have nothing to do,
Right.
and I'm like, duh.
So yeah, there is some truth to that.
Anyway.
There also is YouTube for me is education.
Sure.
And knowing AJ, he probably does literally watch how to like perform a brain surgery or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
it
there is still time wasted. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But so I haven't had Instagram in a long time.
Okay.
Now the thing is, this is another maybe healthy parameter. I can go on any of these things on my computer,
Okay.
but on your computer, you're not going to sit and scroll.
True.
So like once in a while, I'll go open up Instagram on the browser. And
Classic.
for
Yeah,
me,
that's a whole different vibe.
it is.
Not as much.
No, it is.
There's
It's
not a lot of scroll
there's
design.
a lot more accountability with that one. It almost
I
seems.
respond to a couple DMs I got.
Yeah.
Now you don't post stories from it. I don't think
No.
you can even. I don't
That'd be
know.
weird. I don't think you can.
What I feel like looking at Instagram on a computer is just freaks me out.
Maybe that's the way to go though,
Yeah,
because you're not going to be
Don't keep it on
scrolling.
your
It's only
phone.
going to be on certain hours. Like,
So when I did that couple months, I had nothing.
okay.
And so now, but I Facebook on my phone because I have a healthy,
Yeah.
okay. But for a while there, it was maybe once a week I'd just go in a browser. You might do that. I don't know. I did not get addicted to my browser.
Yeah.
Like-
Let's be honest.
The browser didn't have as much
The
of
browser.
a.
No,
you
it's
don't
not.
take it everywhere
well,
with
and it's
you,
not
so
as
you don't.
accessible and it's
Yep.
not on you all the time.
Yep.
So that's maybe a healthy way
Yeah.
to set parameters.
That's good.
You can see your friends. You can respond. Because a lot of people say they don't want to get rid of social media because people message them.
Right. Which is fair.
Yeah, it is. But
Which is fair.
you can do all that in your browser.
Do that. On
Yeah,
the browser.
and just focus on that and not get into the scroll habit.
What did you feel? What were some of the benefits or things that you learned from that couple months, AJ? What are some pros from that or cons?
And that's probably where my stance on it is right now.
Okay.
And this does not come from a confidence. It comes from like I have 5 people that I need to know, or like that I care about them knowing what I'm doing for real.
Yeah.
Beyond that, like I would have no problem with posting something right now, but I legit do not care if I get any likes.
Yeah.
And this is and I've been on Instagram since I was 16, so like 10 years.
Oh wow.
This is the first year I could say that.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
Like
And
my
did-
dad in high school had to tell me why posting a shirtless picture was not a good idea. Like I am not.
AJ was like, Dad, check this
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
This is going to
yeah,
get all the
yeah,
likes.
yeah.
He's like, son, let me tell you something.
I have misused social media.
Yeah.
Like,
Major misusage over here.
yeah.
AJ
like
causing
the
people to
abs need to be
stumble over
seen.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're right.
That is
Yeah.
funny.
So just now, the absence makes you realize you don't need it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So any cons that you've had? Like, is there anything about it that you're like, man, I wish I wouldn't have gone off social media?
The only kind of con is there have been things that I would have liked to put on my story. Like I've done a lot of things that nobody
Yeah.
knows about.
yeah.
And I would have liked to, in a good way, share some of those casually. But like, I don't have that. And so I would have liked to do that, but it's definitely barely a con.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, now it doesn't. I mean, now looking back here, I'm like, oh, what a regret they didn't see that thing I did 8 months ago. You know,
Right,
in the
right.
moment, it probably
That's
feels
a
like you would want to,
24 hour.
but
Yeah.
then you don't
Yeah.
need it. And to me, there's honestly something a little bit special about because everybody knows everything about everybody all the time. Sometimes I do stuff that no one knows about, and I'm kind of like, it's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I experienced something so cool that only me and maybe either who I was with, or even sometimes just me and God. Like, there is something about like, this is the coolest thing ever, and no one knows about it.
Yeah.
And so trying to get in that mind space is what I want to enjoy that, like enjoy what the experience is and not just having to share it.
Yeah.
But
Right.
anyway, but
Right.
you, Derek, you went on 2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks.
How was that?
The main thing, so I basically did Instagram and Facebook. No, I'm sorry. It would have been just Instagram. I did keep Snapchat for like family stuff, whatever.
I kept Snapchat.
Yeah. So that it wasn't a pure social, but Instagram was probably the hardest one for me to give up for some reason, in a way. And I was like building up to it. I was like, man, I'm gonna miss this. I like getting on in the evening and watching my like entrepreneurial stuff, like self-development, seeing what my friends are up to. But then since then, I haven't missed it. And
That's
I've
good.
found I've had a lot more time. Like I'll hit my limits on social media now and I'm like, I'm good. Versus on Instagram, I would like 15 more scroll. And yeah, it's been super beneficial. And I've also seen I have more capacity to read. I honestly, what I've seen in my life is social media has been a robber of the things that I want to get better at, want to learn in. It has been an absolute robber in that for me of like, okay, I want to get better at this instrument. Okay, I want to read this book. I want to learn this language. I want to literally, when you get down that addictive cycle, it literally just sucks all your time up and it makes so you don't want to do those things or you don't have time to do those things. So anyway, so it's been very good for me. I'm going to keep going, honestly. I'm going to keep going for a while. And
Because once you get in it, you're like, I'm so far behind, like knowing what everyone's done. So almost like, I don't want to even catch up, and I'm fine.
Honestly, it's like, I'm
let's
fine.
stick
If the
with
rest
it.
of my life was like this, I wouldn't. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually really nice.
I miss it a lot less
But
than
I think
thought.
where I'm going to end up is where you're at, AJ. We're having a hard limit on it where I can't control that I go over time and then keeping it very healthy. I think that's would be my biggest recommendation from this is set a very healthy time limit, make sure someone else controls it and stick to it.
And you can make in the screen time settings, you add what apps are in what buckets.
Yes,
So
right,
you can combine
exactly.
them and everything.
Right. Okay. So anyway, but Jen, how's it been for you?
I only did a
week.
week, and
Okay.
I did Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
And I did the day before I was gonna get to not be on them. I put them the apps, how that you have it. You know where it's out on your phone. Your thumb knows where to go. So I moved them to the farthest page away, like where I'd have to scroll a couple things to get to it. And so the first day started, right? And guys, this is the craziest thing that helped me, like almost like slap me in the face of, oh, you don't think you're addicted? I cannot tell you how many times that first day I grabbed my phone and I didn't even know I was having my phone. Like consciously, I wasn't thinking. And I would be like, my thumb would try to go where the app was and it wasn't there. And so it would like scroll to the next screen or whatever. And there was several times that I didn't realize what I was doing until all of a sudden it was like,
Wait.
your brain caught up with your body and was saying, it wasn't finding what it was looking for subconsciously. So after like probably 30 seconds, I was like, whoa, what's my thumb doing? And I didn't know what I was even looking for until like probably 30 seconds of like, I am trying to go hit the Instagram app. Not because I was like, oh, I'm going to go get on Instagram. I want to see something. Because it was my absolute default.
Your
It was
reflex.
programming.
It was my reflex.
Yeah, it was your programming.
And it scared me because I did it. I thought the first time I did it, I was like, well, that's embarrassing. Okay, that's bad. Good thing. And so then I moved it from even the 4 screen, like deleted it off my home
Jen
screen.
has like 100 screens.
I have so many screens. I put it in, honestly, I don't know how to
35
run my
screens.
phone half the time. I'm like, I don't know where it is anymore. So that's one good thing.
AJ.
Hey, because it's not because it's an Android, if that's what you're getting at.
No, that's not what he was saying.
What
at
are, you,
all.
what are you getting at? Anyway.
She's not getting it. It's fine. Go ahead.
Yes, you
Jen.
got to tell me. Are you saying I'm dumb?
No. I was making a joke earlier.
Yeah, that
off a guess. I have no idea how you use your phone.
Okay.
I was just making a joke that is any phone you have smart?
Because of the user.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah, saying that your intelligence on the phone was
Thank
in
you.
question.
But I was totally reaching, and you
Yeah,
totally reaffirmed.
You were reaching, and I didn't even get it.
The
which
fact
kinda
that you didn't get it affirmed his joke, which makes it hilarious. Oh, Jen, we're totally
super
kidding.
I'm
embarrassing
totally-
for me.
I'm
But
totally
no,
joking.
I mean, some
Totally
of the
kidding.
stuff I
You
don't
just-
know how to do is
you
embarrassing.
set me up too
I'm
well.
30.
Yeah.
I'm a millennial. I can't.
No,
I
you're
don't know.
good.
Can
stuff.
you say I used to have a dumb phone without even that joke popping in your head?
Yeah, not really. Yeah, correct.
Okay. Anyway.
Yes.
So I the first time I was like, wow, this is bad. And then when it happened several more times throughout the day, I was like, no, this is bad. Like the amount of time when I get in the car, to drive, which don't do this at all when you're driving. I immediately click Facebook and I click Instagram.
Wow.
Just to do it.
Yeah.
Anytime I'm doing something that I am sitting for a period of time or whatever, that's what I was doing. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't really care about Instagram. I hardly ever post. I don't really have a big problem with it. Like, I'll go off for a week, no big deal. And I was like, I am so, what did you use the word earlier when you're not seasoned, you're programmed to just go on things, go on apps and mindlessly scroll and just waste my time. I don't even know it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the devil can be like this sneak attack of keep them as dumbed down as possible, keep them as in the dark and clueless about what's happening so then I can do my work.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's literally what felt like was happening with social media is I didn't even know what the problem was till I stopped it. And so, and it was like the first 3 days were tough. Like I was like, oh, I wonder if someone's sending me a message. I wonder what's going on. I wonder this. And then all of a sudden it was like, this is nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
And the mental clearness that
Clarity.
has come, it's crazy. Like I actually can tell a difference in my energy level, in my what do you call it?
Cognitive ability.
Yeah, that.
Wow.
He's like, you're smart, aren't you now, Jen? Yeah, in my mental capacity, and then my mood.
Wow.
Huge
really?
difference in
Big
my
on the
mood.
mood.
Oh, way
That's so
more
interesting.
happy and like cheerful naturally and like whatever. Maybe not everyone noticed it. Studio people are like, yeah, you've been a grump. No, I could tell a difference in so many parts of me that I was like, is it just social media? I don't know. I'm also not eating sugar. Maybe I have more energy because of that. But oh well. But it did. I could tell a very big difference. And so what I did, I learned a whole new song on the piano.
Oh, Jen.
I had the energy.
Why don't we have a
for it.
piano in
Perfect
here to hear
example.
it? Yes.
I decided I wanted to learn this one song, and so in the evenings I would be like, oh, I would go on Instagram or something and be like, oh, I'm not going to do that, and they'd be like, oh, I'm going to watch this YouTube tutorial on how to play this song. That's where YouTube can be beneficial. And so I pretty much learned it's a pretty complicated song. So I learned the whole first half this week, and I was like, I'll never get there, and I actually have the energy to do it. Like I want to go do that.
Right.
And I've read like 3 things. I never read.
Atta girl.
And so I know I'm not going to say, oh, 1 week and my life has changed, but it actually has made a difference, like noticeably in my life. And so I'm definitely either going to like get rid of it or like keep not going on or do the parameters thing. Cause like my life is better and I feel better and I am almost like happier.
Yeah.
And more joyful without having the need to be on that. So
wow,
it's been crazy how much it's done. So with that, we want to put out a challenge, Derek, right?
We're putting out a 2-week challenge from when this episode airs. A 2-week challenge off social media. So Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram. We'll include YouTube on that just because I think you can do without that for 2 weeks.
Or maybe you can like the challenge. Maybe you pick your challenge.
You can
jump on board. Do anything.
customize
If you're like I can't do all 4, pick 2. Whatever.
Sure.
Whatever it is to help you test yourself and
Don't be lukewarm.
Yeah. Well, good word.
True.
Don't half butt it. Give it the full throttle on that one.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks. Let us know. We'll try to put something on our stories when this
we'll
episode
probably
airs.
put out like who wants to be on board.
Hey,
and keep you accountable.
who's in on the 2-week social media challenge? You can click yes. You can click no. Be honest either way. Just be upfront about it.
And then we won't hear from you for 2 weeks
right.
because you can't tell us how it's going.
Make sure you do the podcast and release it like 2 days before you make everybody get off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like-
You need to get the
0 people respond.
Is anybody doing this? They're
Everybody
all
doing this?
doing it.
They're all doing it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. We'll get more info on that then. But
Yeah.
AJ, is there anything else that you want to share with anybody or with the listeners, like about anything to do with social media, or just even a word of encouragement to them before we wrap this up?
Just to kind of hit a point I kind of hit earlier is in the stuff that you're involved in, are you a better person with or without it? And fill in the blank for what it is.
Yeah.
And so, that could be a lot of, it could be sports for people.
Yeah.
It could be
Yeah.
football. It could be this. It could be that.
True.
And because I'm unfortunately also like you, I'm all in or nothing. This is something I always have to be aware. I am not just the like, and I don't know if maybe nobody's like this, and I just think they are, like this perfectly steady, never wavering force. And I'm just not that person. And so I'm always having to be aware of what I'm doing, where I'm going, and what's good for me.
And where's it leading? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, am I a gooder person with or without this?
I like gooder. Are you
Yeah,
gooder
I'm
or
a
badder?
gooder.
Are you
Gooder or
gooder?
badder?
Is this making me gooder?
Yeah.
That's
That
good.
should be on a shirt too. Man,
Yeah,
so
we
many
might make
shirt
'em.
quotes. I love it.
Okay, guys. Well,
Good
thanks
advice.
for joining us for this episode, AJ, and all of you guys listening. We appreciate you guys listening in, and we honestly hope that this is an episode that makes you think, like reevaluate yourself and your life. Look at yourself, like what's going to make me better, and what are things in my life that need to go? Like not just like half do it, not lukewarm it. Like be like, is this causing me issues? Is this taking away from like the quality of my life? Then get rid of it. Like because and like. That's what matters is, are we getting rid of the things in our life that are keeping us from growing closer to God?
Yeah.
And so, we're going to be doing it for ourselves, and we hope you guys do. And we'd love to hear input from you guys on what you've learned on your social media journeys.
Yeah.
So, okay, we good?
It's been real, kids.
All right, follow
Thanks for
our
being
lead,
here.
AJ. This is the Interview Podcast. I've been Jen.
I've been Derek.
And this was AJ.
Love you guys.
Bye, guys.